Hi, I'm Barbara Applegate, and this is the oil painting I'll be working on today. Here's the photograph I'm going to be using to paint my 20 by 24 oil painting today. I was first intrigued by the play of light and dark on the barns and the wonderful shadows cast by the clouds in the sky. Let's see what we can do to make this come alive in a painting. With a few quick strokes, I'm going to establish the bottom of the cornfield where it meets the road. Now let's put the golden yellow of the corn and then darken the left-hand side. We'll apply some cobalt blue, permanent rose, and a lot of white right underneath the corn stalks to create the road. Now let's get some green mixed up. I'm going to use sap green, burnt sienna, and ivory black, and quickly cover the lower third of the can. Now let's get right into the sky. The sky in the photograph is a little boring, so I'm going to create my own sky. I want a big, dramatic cloud bank. Starting on the right, I'm using titanium white, phthalo blue, permanent rose, and sometimes I mix in a little bit of raw sienna. That creates the most wonderful gray. The left hand is going to be much lighter. I want the sun to be peeking out from behind the clouds, so I'm keeping my colors very fresh. I'm taking a brush moistened with turpentine and drawing a line right where I want my barns to appear. Then I start to lift out the wet oil paint to create the shape of my buildings. Don't overload your brush with turpentine or it will run right down the painting. I'm very mindful that that yellow cornfield is above my subject matter. I'm going to have to do something about that. But I'm very pleased I've moved the barns lower in the composition. This is a mixture of cadmium yellow, a tiny little hint of permanent rose, and white. And once again, we're placing our cornfield in front of our barns. Vary your strokes. You'll want to have some long, even strokes. Then some short textural strokes. Feather it into the stalk area, taking it all the way to the edge. I'm going to put the road back in with a mixture of titanium white, cobalt blue, and some permanent rose. With my 1/2-inch brush, I fill it full of a combination of sap green, burnt sienna, and a tiny little bit of ivory black. With quick up and down motions, I'm creating an illusion of stalks. I've let the first layer of paint dry overnight. And now with a mixture of cadmium yellow, sap green, and raw sienna, I'm brushing on the rows of vegetation. In the photograph, I was struck by the strong diagonals in the foreground. This is a wonderful way to lead the eye into the painting. Wherever I want the sun to be peeking out from the cloud, I'm going to use this yellow mixture. As you come closer to the horizon, your colors are going to warm. Your grays in the cloud will be warmer. There'll be a reflection of the earth tones into your clouds. This is the fun part of the painting for me. I'm just playing with the paint. It's almost like being in kindergarten again. Teacher gives you a bucket of paint and a couple of brushes and away you go. So much of painting is hard work. It's really important to enjoy the fun times. This is all painting wet and wet. Bring it right into that yellow mass that used to be our cornfield, because we're going to have to decide what to do with that very soon. Look how much warmer the color is, closer to the earth. Back down along the horizon, I'm putting my warmest colors. It's a mixture of cadmium yellow, permanent rows in white. The silos are dry, so I'm going to paint right over them. I want this to blend. Guess what? Our cornfield is going to turn into the sun glowing beneath the clouds. Stepping back, we can see that everything's well established. The sky, the foreground. I really like those diagonals. The buildings are all in place. Now the one thing we have to do is tone down those buildings. They just are standing out too much, and we don't want that. I'm going to mix up a neutral gray. That's actually too dark, so I'll just wipe it out. That's better. Much prettier blue. I'm just going to brush it all over the buildings. Look how they start to disappear into the landscape. One of the most difficult things to do is to make your buildings part of your landscape. And see that color there is really the color of the clouds. It's a wonderful shadow color for those buildings. Thanks for watching the Part 1 preview of Whitehorse Farm. Visit BarbaraApplegateStudio.com to purchase the full 60-minute video.